And greetings. Welcome to this week's Confidence Picks here on the channel. I'm Steve Deace with my co-host, never partner, the one and only Aaron McIntyre. And brother, let's get an update on where things stand, because this is a tough week of games to pick. So this is key where we're at on the old scoreboard heading in.
I gained on you a little bit, and before you wonder, yes, I did rectify the mistake I made in the tabulation last week, and that's reflected here. So it was kind of It was not a bad week for either of us, actually. You missed on Michigan State, as did I, over Michigan. Missed on Wisconsin over Penn State, and you missed on your bonus bet of Wisconsin plus 6.5. I missed on Maryland over Minnesota, just a bit outside, and Michigan State over Michigan as well. I hedged a little bit, a couple, 2-3 fewer points on Michigan State over Michigan. So I gained, I think it was like 13 points on you this week. So I'm only behind by 13 points going into, we said this a couple of weeks ago, but now I think this is the new leader for the toughest week of picks so far this season.
I mean, put it this way, my 8-point game is the defending national champions.
Yep.
Because I can make a case for both sides of all the rest of these games. To me, the hardest case to make was, can Michigan get to 28 points? Because they can play great defense and Oregon's still scoring like 27, right?
Yep.
So that's why my 8-point game this week, no emotional hedge. I just thought the hardest case for me to make was Michigan scoring enough points to actually win the game. So I'm going to take Oregon as my 8-pointer. I'm going to take Nebraska as my 7-pointer, but UCLA has been playing better, man. Has been playing better, and I don't know where Nebraska will be after that near miss last week. It's clear that, Matt Rule was trying to lay down a marker about championship DNA, but we'll see. I've got 6 points with Indiana over Michigan State. That's a true road game environment. I also don't know what Michigan State's psyche will be. I mean, they could come out, really pissed off that they blew an opportunity at the Big House. That could also be the end of their year. I'm going to put 5 points on Illinois over Minnesota. I have no idea why Minnesota is favored in the game, but that gives me pause right there and there that someone knows something I don't know. But Illinois has owned P.J. Fleck. Owned him since he came into the Big Ten. Been a strange kind of series. My 4-point game is Iowa over Wisconsin at home. There's a kind of the same team, and I think Iowa probably deserves about 3 to 4 points for home field advantage in this game. So I made it my 4-pointer.
Yeah.
Ohio State over Penn State, but I could go both ways on this. I mean, the state of the cluster injuries on the Ohio State offensive line against that defensive front. I also don't know the state of Drew Aller either. Again, these games this week, man, are coin flips, which is exactly what the Big Ten was thinking when it did all this expansion, that we would we get to November and think, I don't know who's going to win these games. So there's drama in every one. Washington, USC, they're like the same team, basically, but Washington's at home, so I'll go with them. But even the same kind of coach, Jed Fish and Lincoln Riley are basically even the same kind of coach. And then I'll go with Purdue at home against Northwestern, thinking they won't go 1-11, but I wouldn't be shocked at all if Northwestern went in there and was the more disciplined team and won. So as you can tell, I'm not really confident on any of these games, other than I don't think Michigan's offense can score enough points to just outright win. But I am going to that game for my bonus. My numbers say that this total is light by like a touchdown. So I'm going to say Oregon, Michigan over 45 is my bonus pick this week. It'll be pretty good weather, it looks like, for this time of year at the Big House. So that shouldn't do anything to keep the scoring down. Again, I think Michigan could play tremendous defense, and Oregon is still going to score at least 27, 28 points. So I'm going to go with the over there as my best bet bonus this week.
Yeah. With the exception of the Oregon-Michigan game, you would be better served by just kind of throwing darts at a dartboard for where you want to rank the rest of these. And when you get to the lower half, which side you actually want to take. I'm the same on 8 and 7. I've got Oregon over Michigan and Nebraska over UCLA. But as you said, really the whole season. I mean, I go back to the LSU game. UCLA kind of hung around with LSU, and that was at LSU as well, if I'm not mistaken.
It was. They covered too.
I mean, for all of the talk, and we did our fair share of our talk about their head coach just completely claiming up at Big Ten Media Days. I don't know. He must have he's got something going there, because they show up and play every week. 6, I've got Illinois over Minnesota, slightly higher than where you have them ranked on your confidence picks, because I don't understand, Minnesota, Max Brosman's playing better, but Illinois, I think, should be the better team, and that is in Champaign, if I'm not mistaken. So I've got Illinois over Minnesota at 6. At 5, I've got Wisconsin over Iowa. Iowa's just not a good team. They're not a bad team either, and the same thing could be said about Wisconsin and a lot of these other teams as well. But the hallmark of not good teams or not great teams is vast swings of inconsistency from one week to another. The only thing that's been consistent, and this is a good thing, is that Iowa has found a way, or Caleb Johnson has found a way to get his every single week, but that doesn't always mean that they've come out on top. So I could see just another swing to just below average play for Iowa going into this week against Wisconsin. And then at 4, I talked about it the other day, Penn State over Ohio State. I'm the most optimistic overall about Penn State's prospects, really, than I have been in years, just because of what this new wild world of college football and the way the Big Ten is structured. I think I have fewer question marks in the places where it really matters in these November games about Penn State than I do for Ohio State. I talked about that yesterday as well, particularly in the trenches. And that game is at home. I hate big noon games. I hate that that's the marquee game. This should be a wideout. This should at least be mid-afternoon, but that's the way that I've been complaining about that for years now, that Fox has been the primary partner for the Big Ten or for the Big Ten Conference. 3, I've got Indiana over Michigan State. If nothing else, then something just intuition-wise. I can't really put my finger on it. Smells about this game. Number 2, it's supposed to be great weather. It's supposed to be, it's in the middle of the afternoon. It's supposed to be good weather, but something just stinks about that. 2, I've got Washington over USC. Again, we've discussed this. What are either of these teams playing for? Same for Northwestern over Purdue. What's either team playing for at this juncture? Purdue is, I think, the 1-point favorite, which is surprising to me. But I'm just basically flipping a coin there. And then my bonus pick, Indiana, Michigan State over the total of 52 points. I think that could be a very high variance game. I could look foolish with that one or look really smart with that pick.
Yeah, that's probably 17-10. Or 35-28.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it for this week's picks. We'll see if Aaron can cut more into that lead with so much variance on the table with this week's docket. Don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, 5-star, share, review, all those great things with all the stuff we do here on the channel. We appreciate them all, and it certainly helps us to grow the channel all the more as well. Enjoy the games. We'll see you next week right here on the channel. I'm Steve Dacey. Aaron McIntyre. See you then.